Hey, good afternoon. It's Ellis. Happy to be with you again today, Friday, or whatever time you're tuning in. You don't tune into this live. And we're going to get right into it. And my intention for our practice today is hmm, obviously not to escape. That's never really the goal of our practice, but um, to be able to pay attention, to practice the ability to focus, even when things feel overwhelming, and to hopefully build a little bit of resilience in the face of discomfort. And so we do that by practicing a little bit of discomfort and by also reframing the way that we approach it. So we'll move through the body. I'll read a little bit to you from a book that's been helpful for me, and we'll get right to it. So we're going to start in a really stable seat, and this one is often called king's seat, but it's basically just sitting a little bit forward into your chair so that both feet can feel flat on the ground. So you might scoot a little bit farther forward, and then I'll turn so you can see that my legs are wide enough that there's plenty of space for the torso. And then I'm just going to bring my hands to my thighs and lean just a little bit forward so that there's weight in my hands. And so in this really stable seat, I can feel all of my feet on the ground completely. And my hands are taking about 5% of the weight into them. And I can feel that press into my thighs. And in that pressing, I'm not hugging the shoulders into the ears. I'm staying really upright. And again, there's just this really subtle tilt of the spine forward. Now bring your gaze to the earth in front of you so that your neck finds a neutral expression. The chin isn't jutting forward, it's not overly tucked. Just find this neutral. And so you might kind of move the head and neck around until you feel this equilibrium. Allow the hands to support some of your weight, and then feel that weight transfer through the lower leg bones into the ground. Either keep the eyes open with a soft focus on an unmoving thing in front of you, or close them. We're going to use this first minute or two to allow ourselves to be alive in the wholeness of this moment. And so what I mean by that is allowing the sensory inputs from our ears, our eyes, the things we can smell or feel, allow all of those things to be here without micromanaging them and without micromanaging your responses or your reactions. We're practicing allowing and accepting the things around us without reaction. Still in the body and steady in the breath. As best as you can, allow the muscles of the face to soften, the eyebrows, the ears, and the jaw. Allow the muscles on the sides and back of your neck to relax to the greatest extent that they can while still keeping your head on. Feel the connection to the earth through your feet. And as we begin, to allow the sensations to flood in without judgment or reaction, now is the time to tune into your breath. Let it travel in and out through your nose and make it audible so you can hear both the inhale and the exhale. Keep going like this, steady in the breath, steady in the body. Several more breaths exactly as you are. No need to fix or change. 3 more breaths. Good. All right, you can open your eyes if they're closed and then return to a more neutral seat. So you're gonna maybe scoot back a little bit into your chair so that there's a little bit less effort. And then keeping the hands on the knees, we're going to tune into the breath again with some cat and cow. So gripping the knees, sending the chest forward, chin up, throat forward as you inhale. Rounding the back as you exhale, relaxing the chin into the throat. Keep going like this, forward and back and up and down with the sound and pace of your breath. And see if you can smooth out the edges between your inhales and your exhales. Smooth out the edges between cat and cow and cat. So the body and the breath are always in this flow movement. A few more. Less rigidity, more allowing. Last time. Good. Bring the spine to neutral. And you're going to have to see if you need to adjust the seat. But we're just going to do some alternate leg and arm raises. So you'll reach your right arm forward and your left leg forward. And then you're just going to bring it back and take it to the other side. So we're going to go slow and methodical. And if it would feel more stable for you to sit back in the chair so that your back can rest against the seat, that's perfectly fine. The other option, if lifting the leg isn't feeling accessible to you, you can always grab the leg and we'll just alternate leg lifts. So find this variation that suits you. And be curious about the sensations that arise in the body. And don't speed up too much. The tendency, the desire is to want to speed through this. And I want you to think of this more as an exercise in mindfulness than as an exercise in your physical fitness. So we're crossing the plane of the body. Now I want you to, as you reach forward, maybe you tap the leg. So we're really going to cross that center line of the body. It doesn't matter where you touch the leg. It might be the thigh, the knee. You might reach the foot. We're crossing the plane of the body. Do this a few more times each side. Steady breath. Keeping the movement really simple and mindful today. Twice more each side. Good. Come to neutral. Feel both feet on the ground. Let's take hand to the top of your head and reach it over to the ear. Stretch the neck over. Whichever side you'd like to start with. Breathe wide. Breathe expansive length from the bottom of your ear to where those traps attach at the end of the collarbone. Good. Release the hand that's holding your head, but keep the head tilted sideways. Take the opposite arm out to the side, palm faces down. And now we're just going to keep the arm straight, but slowly tip the palm to the ceiling and then down. Keep going like this. So we're not rigidly locking out the elbow, but generally straight. Relax this other shoulder. And keep that head tipped over. And see if you can expand this twisting of the arm, extending how far it turns. You're going to feel the forearm bones cross each other as they turn, and you're going to feel a little bit of sensation of the upper arm bone moving in the shoulder socket. Good. Do this a couple more times. Curious about the sensation here, maybe in the neck, maybe in the forearm as well. Maybe even down through the pinky toe edge as we cross the elbow. Good. Pinky toe, pinky finger. Good. Release that down. Bring your head back to neutral. You shrug your shoulders, let that out. We'll take this to the other side. So we'll start with arcing the head over. So just gently resting the hand up here. We're not pulling. We're just adding some passive weight. Good. Stay just as you are. Keep the hand, or keep the head as it is, release the hand, and then take your other arm out to the other side, palm faces down, and then we're going to start turning up and down. And then we're going to start turning even beyond up and down. So palm faces up here. Can you get the palm to face up? Going the other way, maybe. Notice the sensation, and maybe it's different on this side. It certainly is for me. A few more times. In curiosity, in allowing sensation, in being willing to move in maybe a novel way. And in practicing a little discomfort, a little novelty, so that we can take these lessons off our chair, off our mats. Good. Release the hand down, bring the head up. If you need to shrug again, go ahead. All right, take your arms out wide like a cactus, palms face forward. And now see if you could imagine touching your elbows behind you. And so you're pinning the shoulder blades together, chest lifts up, and there's a little boop, hug of the belly in. Breath in. And then as you breathe out, bring the forearms maybe to touch in front of you, maybe not, upper back round. So we're going to keep moving like this. So we're warming up the front and the back of the chest. So expanding through the muscles on the front of the chest while engaging those on the back. And then when we come forward, we engage the muscles of our chest and widen those in the upper back. Keep going like this. And I want you to move with your breath, just like we do in cat-cow. Inhaling expansion, exhaling contraction. Keep going. There should be even a little bit of tension there at the end ranges. There should be a little bit of effort to get there. Good. 2 more times. Good. Take your arms up overhead, interlace the fingers, press the palms up, really shrug the shoulders into the ears and stay here with your breath. Inhale and exhale. I want you to get as long as you can from your armpits to your hip creases. You can even go side by side. Imagine telescoping the rib cage up. Great big breath in. Hold the breath, press the palms up towards the sky. Hold the breath, take one more sip in. Cactus the arms, breathe out the mouth. Good, hands release down. Feel that rush of sensation that happens there. Good. All right, we'll do a little bit more mindful movement. Take your arms up as you inhale, palms face one another. Be sure your feet are flat on the ground, so if you need to scoot a little forward, no big deal. Breath in. As you breathe out, tip the arms beside you like a cape and reach the chest towards the ground. As you inhale, it's hands to knees to reach the chest up halfway. As you breathe out, fold, release the head. Take the arms wide like a cape, squeeze the shoulder blades together, and then inhale, arms overhead. So we'll do this a little bit faster. Exhale, arms along your side like a cape, palms face down, release the head. Halfway lift, hands to knees, breathe in, fold and exhale. In one movement, wide arms, and then take it up overhead. Breath in, breath out. Halfway lift, Fold Uttanasana. Urdhva Hastasana, arms overhead. Uttanasana, fold, exhale. Ardha Uttanasana, halfway lift as you breathe in. Breathe out and fold, Uttanasana. Keep going, breath in. Breath out, squeeze the shoulder blades together. Inhale, chest reaches forward, even looping the chest forward and then down. Keep going. Maybe close down the eyes. Observe the body weight shifting and the breath shifting. Three more times all the way through. No sense of urgency. Find little back bends where you can in the halfway lift and in the full rise. There's just a baby hint of a back bend, an opening of the front of the heart. Two more. Last one. Good, arms up, breath in, and let the hands float into your lap as you breathe out. Beautiful. All right. Last little bit of movement, and then we'll bring it down. So we're going to do a twist with a block between the knees. And if you don't have a block, something else about this size would be good. And we're looking at this sort of medium width. So you might have a water bottle or pillow or something like that. But bring it between your knees. And again, both feet are flat on the ground. I want you to squeeze the knees into the block or your block replacement right between the knees. So feel the inner line of the thighs doing a little bit of work. Keep that engagement. Both feet flat on the ground. And then I want you to cross your forearms in front of the heart, and you can hook your thumbs. And this mudra that we're sort of happening to make is Garuda mudra, and it is a freedom mudra. It's a freedom from within. And so that doesn't mean freedom from all suffering, but it's a freedom from the trust, rooted in the trust that we have in our abilities. We'll get into that. Lift the chest into your hands. And we're just going to twist side by side. So to the right and to the left. Keep squeezing the block. And we're doing that so that this movement gets isolated in the middle back. And the hips stay more or less stationary. Knees stay pointing forward. So we're using that block to reinforce that action. And if as you're doing this, it feels too hard to squeeze the block as it is, you can take it a little bit wider, and that's just fine too. Keep going side by side. And just a couple more times. And then when you feel ready, you're going to keep the block and then turn this into a full-blown twist. So you'll take the hand behind you to your chair, and the other hand will find the outer line of the leg. And we'll twist. We're going to stay here for a few breaths. Find a broadness across the collarbone. So you could widen the space between each shoulder as it faces towards the side wall. Again, feel both feet on the ground and squeeze the block with your legs. One more breath. Good. Return to center. Find that cross of the wrists and just start to twist side by side again. Maybe you can feel the belly is working to initiate this twist. And all parts of the core, front and back and side, are working here. When you feel ready, take this twist to the other side. So you'll turn, take the hand to the back of the chair, other hand to the outer line of the leg, and then breathe gently and fully, allowing this shape to evolve and grow. Widening the front of the chest, plugging the shoulder blades together and down. 2 more breaths. Good. Come to face forward. Set your block to the side. Shift a little forward so you can bring your hands to your knees. We'll return to cat and cow, sending the chest forward and then sending it back. A few more times like this, and then feel free to add on intuitive and circular movements, sending the rib cage side to side, exploring sensation in the body. Let the head and neck be relaxed, be easeful. You might push your hands into one knee, dropping a shoulder side to side. This is truly your opportunity to explore what it's like to be in the wholeness of your body exactly as it is today. Good. And then you'll ease your way back to neutral, and then we'll find that king seat, that regal seat we did at the beginning. So scooting far enough forward that both feet are flat, taking your legs wide enough that you feel comfortable and stable. And then hands to thighs with just the tiniest little lean forward so that you transfer the weight of your torso in through your palms and down the legs. Again, commit your gaze on the earth in front of you. Find a neutral positioning of the neck. You can experiment to find that. And we will end as we began with seated meditation. So that, again, the gaze can stay softly focused on something in front of you, or you can feel free to close down the eyes. 5 breaths. Settle into the completeness of this moment. And as you sit here, I'm going to read to you a little bit from an Alan Watts book from the 50s. And he's talking about pain. And what I am encouraging you, this resonated with me today to share with you, is the pain of discomfort that comes from confronting the systems of supremacy that we are in, the systems of oppression in which we participate, even unknowingly. And that the pain that we feel now comes from confronting that complicity and confronting the deep work that we all have to do. And so again, I'm going to share for you from this book when he describes pain and resistance. So let land what lands, allow the breath to be full. He says, if, when swimming, you are caught in a strong current, it is fatal to resist. You must swim with it and gradually edge to the side. One who falls from a height with stiff limbs will break them, but if he relaxes like a cat, he will fall safely. A building without give in its structure will easily collapse in storm or earthquake, and a car without the cushioning of tires and springs will soon come apart on the road. The mind has just the same powers, for it has give and it can absorb shocks, like water or a cushion. But this giving way to an opposing force is not at all the same thing as running away. A body of water does not simply run away when you push it. It simply gives at the point of the push and encloses your hand. The shock absorber does not fall down like a bowling pin when struck. It gives, and yet it stays in the same place. To run away is the only defense of something rigid against an overwhelming force. Therefore, the good shock absorber has not only give, but also stability or weight. In light of these principles, how does the mind absorb suffering? It discovers that resistance and escape, the I process, is a false move. The pain is inescapable, and resistance as a defense only makes it worse. The whole system is jarred by the shock. Seeing the impossibility of this course, it must act according to its nature, remain stable, and absorb. Stay with yourself here. To remain stable is to refrain from trying to separate yourself from a pain because you know that you cannot. Running away from fear is fear. Fighting pain is pain. Trying to be brave is being scared. If the mind is in pain, the mind is in pain. The thinker has no other form than his thought. There is no escape. But so long as you are not aware of the inseparability of thinker and thought, you will try to escape. From this follows, quite naturally, absorption. It is no effort. The mind does it by itself. Seeing that there is no escape from the pain, the mind yields it, absorbs it, and becomes conscious of just pain without any I feeling or resisting it. It experiences pain in the same complete, unself-conscious way in which it experiences pleasure. Pain is the nature of this present moment, and I can only live in this moment. Sometimes when resistance ceases, the pain simply goes away or dwindles to an easily tolerable ache. At other times it remains, but the absence of any resistance brings about a way of feeling pain so unfamiliar as to be hard to describe. The pain is no longer problematic. I feel it, but there's no urge to get rid of it, for I've discovered that pain and the effort to be separate from it are the same thing. Wanting to get out of pain is the pain. It is not the reaction of an I distinct from the pain. When you discover this, the desire to escape merges into the pain itself and vanishes. Two more breaths as you are. Keep your eyes soft or closed. Walk your hands up the thighs so that the chest can be a little more upright. And then find that crossed wrist across the chest. Thumbs can hook, and then there's a press of the pads of the fingers and a lift at the chest. We learn that resistance is the same thing as pain. We learn that in order to confront pain and discomfort, we have to be willing to give a little bit without getting run over. So may we, as best as we can, day to day, apply these practices and these lessons in our conversations, in our confrontations. I thank you for taking time out of your day to spend with me in a little bit of mindful movement and thought. Press your palms together in reverence for this practice, for this body, for this opportunity to take a break. And I invite you to bow the mind to the wisdom of the body and the heart. Thank you. All right, y'all. Thank you again very much for joining me today. As always, this will get posted and you can follow along. This is the book that I read from today. I recommend it. It's a quick and easy read. I mean, easy is relative. Alan Watts does a great job of making metaphysical concepts approachable. So I'd recommend that. Otherwise, take care of yourself. Be unafraid of the hard conversations. And yeah, take care of those around you. Wear your mask. All right. Thanks, y'all. Have a beautiful weekend.